Hi friends, this is Bakapa. In this chapter 3 of Playwright full course, we are going to see what are annotations and what are the different types of annotations we are using in the Playwright. So we will see how to skip a test and how to run only selected tests by using the Playwright annotations. And then next we are seeing how to group the automation tests and how to execute it based on the groups. And next we are going to see how to tag a test and how to execute the only tagged test throughout the project. And next we are going to see how to repeat a test multiple times. So based on the need or demand. And next we are going to see how to automatically retry the failed test cases. And next we are going to see how to perform parallel testing using Playwright. And next we are going to see how to parameterize tests in Playwright. So where basically how you can pass the different sets of test data to the Playwright tests. And finally, we are going to see how to perform the visual comparison testing using Playwright, where we are comparing the two images, that means screenshots of the actual web page and the expected web page. In this Playwright tutorial, we are going to see how to skip a test and how to run only selected tests in Playwright. So there might be a situation where you want to run only few test cases from the spec file. So that can be achieved by using the only keyword. So let's see how to skip a test. So here I will go to the VS Code. So let me create a quickly one spec file here, annotations.spec.js. So that's it. So here I will go to the one of the spec file. Simply I will copy the test and I'll paste it here. That's it, guys. So this particular spec file has the only one test. So I will copy this particular test and I will add total 3 Playwright tests. So that's it, guys. Then I will rename the test with, so this is the third test. I'm adding the name as assertions in Playwright 3. So this is the third test and this is the second test and this is the first test, right? So currently we have 3 automation tests in this annotations.spec file. So let's run all these 3 automation tests. So we will verify whether all the 3 automation tests are working fine or not. So I will run the test. So here I'm running the spec file. So currently it is running the very first test. So once the execution is completed, we will see how to skip a test from the test execution using Playwright. So now the third test is running. So that's it, guys. If you see here, so all the 3 automation tests are perfectly working fine and those are getting passed. So I will go to the Explorer now. Say for example, I don't want to run the assertions in Playwright 2. So simply you can use the after the test, simply write dot and simply here add the skip. So before I run this particular test, guys, so let's look at the report as well. In that report, you will be able to see the all the 3 automation tests are got passed. So if you see here, guys, so total automation tests is 3 and those all are getting passed, right? So this time I have added the skip after the test because I don't want to run this particular Playwright test. So right now only assertions in Playwright test 1 and assertions in Playwright test 3 will be getting executed. So I will run once again the spec file and also we can see the same report in the HTML as well. So right now the first test is getting executed. And now the third test is running. because second test is getting skipped, and you can see the output as well. So that's it guys, and if you see the output also, one test is skipped, two tests are passed. So let's go to the report and let's refresh the report also. See, if you see here guys, total test is 3, 2 are getting passed, and here you can see that one test got failed, and here you can see the name of the test which got skipped. So this is how you can use the skipped statement with the test in Playwright. Now let's see how you can run the only selected automation test, right? So there might be a scenario you don't want to run whole spec file, right? So in this case, I want to run only assertions in Playwright one test. So that's the reason. So after the test, simply you need to add the dot. So simply call to the one function called only. That's it, guys. In this spec file, only this particular test will be getting executed. So let's run the spec file once again. So here I'm running the annotations.spec file. So this time only one test will be running because we have used only keyword to run only selected automation test. So if you see here guys, so only one test is there and that is got passed. So let's look at the HTML report. And if you see here guys, total test is 1 and that is getting passed, right? So this is how you can use the skip and only keywords in the Playwright. In this Playwright tutorial, we are going to see how to group test cases and how to run the group of test cases. So basically we will see how to create a single group in Playwright and how to create multiple groups and how to execute the group of test cases we will see using the Playwright. So here I will navigate to the VS Code now, and here I will create a simple spec file now. So here I'll say group.spec.js. So that's it guys. And here I will go to the one of the spec file and simply I will copy the one automation test and I'll paste it inside the group spec file. So that's it guys. So let's modify the test name as test1. So right now we have the only one test. So I will take the copy of this test and I will create another test. So basically I'm creating the duplicate of first test. So here I will give the name as test2. So that's it guys. So this is a very common spec file you have seen already, how to create a spec file and how to create the Playwright test. Now let's see how to create a groups. So we have to use the describe function to create the groups. So here I'm using the test object followed by, here I'm calling the describe function. So inside the describe function, we have to provide the group name. So here I'm giving the first group name as smoke testing. And followed by that, I will simply give the function, that's the arrow function. Simply I will close and open, sorry, here I'm just opening and closing the flower brackets. That's it guys. So we have created a one group now. So similarly, we can create the another group. So here I'm creating another group called sanity testing. That's it guys. Now I will come back and I will take these test1 and test2 and I will put into the smoke testing bucket. So that's it guys. So let me format this particular test. And what I will do is, so we have added two automation tests into the smoke testing bucket. Now let's create one test under the sanity testing group as well. So I will take the copy of this test and I'll paste it inside the sanity testing group. So here I will rename the test name as test3. So that's it guys. So we have created the one group called smoke testing and the second group as sanity testing. So smoke testing is having two test cases and sanity testing is having only one test. So now I will go to the testing So here I will just go to the spec file what we have just created. So here I'm opening the spec file, that's group.spec.js file. And if you see here guys, we have the two groups. One is smoke testing and another one is sanity testing. So if you see here guys, test1 and test2 is belonging to the smoke testing, and test3 is belonging to the sanity testing. So in the real time project, you can put the multiple tests into the group, and based on the need or based on the demand, you can go and execute the group of test cases. So simply I will trigger the smoke testing test cases. So it will execute test1 and test2. The first test is getting executed. Now already it is launched the second test case execution. And if you see here guys, so it has executed the smoke testing group, and that contains two tests. Those are getting passed. And in the similar way, we can trigger the sanity testing also. So it opens the URL and it will validates the some of the things in this web page, and it will wait for some time. Then it will closes the browser, right? So if you see here guys, one test was there inside the sanity testing group, and that test is getting passed. So this is how you can create the groups and execute it from the Playwright. In this Playwright tutorial, we are going to see how to tag a test and how to execute the tagged tests in Playwright. So here I will go to the VS Code and quickly I will create a spec file here. So here I'll say spec file name as tag test.spec.js. So that's it. So here I will go to the one of the spec file and simply I will copy the one test and I will come back to the tag test.spec file. And here, so we have only one test. So let me summarize what we are doing in this test. So we are navigating to youtube.com and we are entering the search keywords and we are clicking on the search icon. And then once we got the results, we are clicking on the playlist, and then we are validating the title of the web page. That's it guys. Now let's see how you can tag a test. So let me modify the test name as, so I will give the test name as test1, and similarly I will create the copy of this test. So I want to create a total 3 automation test here. So this is the second test, test 2, and I am creating another test, that is test 3. That's it guys. So tagging is very simple guys. So whenever you are creating a test, so whenever we are writing the description of the test, then and there you can specify the tag name for this particular test. So by using the @ symbol. So here I'm giving the tag name as tag1. And here you can give the tag name as smoke testing, sanity testing, or regression testing also you can give it. For the test 1, I'm giving the tag 1. And I will come to the test 2 here. And here I'm giving the tag name as tag 2. And for the test 3, I will give the tag name as @tag 1. That's it guys. So we have given two tags here. One is @tag 1, another one is @tag 2. That's it guys. For @tag 1 we have two tests, @tag 2 we have only one test. Now let's see how to execute the tagged test by using the terminal. So I will open the terminal here. So it is very easy guys. So simply you can write the npx followed by playwright and followed by test, and then here you need to write the hyphen grep. Followed by that we need to specify the tag name. So in our case I want to execute the tag 1 automation tests. So that's the reason here I have entered a tag 1. For tag 1, we have total 2 automation tests, and at the rate tag 2 contains only 1 automation test. And if you see here guys, so second test is getting executed. Just for the demo purpose, I have given the at the rate tag 1 and at the rate tag 2. So in the real-time projects, you can give the at the rate smoke testing, at the rate sanity testing, at the rate regression testing. And if you see here guys, output. So we had 2 automation tests belong to the at the rate test 1, sorry, tag 1. So those are getting executed here, right? So let's open the report and we will execute the tag 2 test as well. If you see here guys, so test 1 is belong to the at the rate tag 1 and test 3 is belong to the at the rate tag 1, right? So total test count is 2 and those are getting passed here, right? So this time I want to execute the test which belong to the at the rate tag 2. Only test 2 will be getting executed this time. So here I will modify the tag name as at the, sorry guys. So I need to mention at the rate tag 2. And if you see here guys, and only one test got triggered for the execution and that is already running right now. So it validates the title of the web page and it will closes the browser. That's it guys. And if you see the output here, so only one test it was having that was belong to the at the rate tag 2 and those that particular test got executed. So let's open the report and refresh it. And if you see here, so this time we have executed tests which are belong to the at the rate tag 2. So right now only one test is belong to the at the rate tag 2. So this is how you can create the tags for the Playwright tests, and this is how you can execute the tests which belong to the specific tags. In this Playwright tutorial, we are going to see how to run a test multiple times in Playwright to check the stability of an application, to check the stability of an automation test as well. So here I'm navigating to the VS Code. So here I'm inside the terminal right now. So let's execute the assertions.spec.js file. So which contains only one test. So we will try to run the same test multiple times. So here I'm using the command called npx followed by playwright and followed by that test. And here we have to specify the spec file name assertions.spec.js. That's it guys. So this is a very basic command which we are using it for the executing the specific spec file. Now here you need to enter the hyphen hyphen repeat and hyphen each equal to, here we have to specify the count. Say for example, I want to run this particular test 2 times. So here we have to pass the 2 as the value. If you want to run 10 times, you can pass the 10 as the value. So first time the test is getting executed. And the same test will run once again. So it looks like it has already executed. So let me rerun it. So it is basically launching the 2 browsers at the same time. So that's the reason you are seeing only one test in the UI. And if you see here, so second test also got completed. And here you can see that 2 are passed. Now this time I will pass the 3 as the count. So same test will run 3 times. So if you see here guys, so it has launched the 2 browsers right now. That means same test is executed 2 times in two different browsers. And now the third one will launch. If you see here guys, the third test got launched. So once the execution is finished, we will open the report and we will see it. And if you see here guys, the same test got executed 3 times. So that's the reason here you can see 3 passed. So let's open the report and we should be able to see the same test executed 3 times. If you see here, so this is the test name, and here you can see that 3 entries, right? And also here you can see that total test count is 3 and passed test count is also 3. So this is how we can execute the same test multiple times in Playwright. In this Playwright tutorial, we are going to see how to retry a test in Playwright. So when automation test case got failed, so we will set the configuration. Based on the configuration, it will number of times it is going to retry the same test for the execution. So let's see how to do this in the Playwright. So here I will navigate to the VS Code, and already we have the one test created which is getting failed in the previous Playwright tutorial, that is failed test.spec file. So let's run this test and we'll make sure that this automation test is getting failed. And then we will make the configuration changes and we will observe. So based on the configuration, whether it is retrying for the execution or not. And if you see here guys, so our test should get failed. So it will throw the results. Let's wait for a few seconds. And if you see here guys, actual string and expected strings are not matching. So that's the reason our test got failed. So our test is getting failed. So let's look at the report as well. And if you see the report, so our test is getting failed, right? And here you can see the all the error information and also steps and the screenshot, and also you can see the trace information. Now, how you can set the configuration to retry the failed automation test. So you need to go to the playwright.config.js file, and here you can see the defined configuration inside this one. So we have the one flag called retries. So right now the value is passed on to the pipeline. If you see here, already 2 is there. So whenever we are executing the Playwright automation test from the pipeline, so it is going to retry the 2 times when test is getting failed. But to run, that means to rerun the failed test automatically, you need to pass the value over here. So right now I'm passing it as 1. If my test got failed, so it will retry for only 1 time. So this particular configuration you need to set so that it is going to retry the failed test automatically. So I'm just saving it and closing it. So again, I'm going to rerun the test from the terminal. So here I will write npx followed by playwright and followed by test. And after that, simply I need to pass the spec file name. So we want to execute the failed test.spec.js. So that's the reason here I'll write failed test.spec.js. So it is going to run the only one test because that spec file has only one test. And if the test got failed, it is going to retry for only 1 time because we have given the configuration value as 1 for the auto retry. So first time it is got executed and our test got failed. It is going to retry the first time. So we have added only 1. So that means it is going to retry the failed test only once. And if you see the output also here, that is the very first retry. So it is going to open the report as well. And if you see here, our test is getting failed. So this is the original run, execution log details, error information, screenshot steps, and traces. And there is another tab for this particular test. So here you can see the retry one. So these are the details for the test execution, where it is got failed, what is the screenshot, and what is the traces. So we have executed only one time after the test got failed, right? So if I add to here, so it is going to retry two times if my test got failed. So here I'll just press Ctrl C. So that's it. I will close this particular report and I will rerun the test once again. So this time, two times retry will happen because the configuration value what we have added is 2. So this is the original test execution. So this time our test got failed and first retry will happen here. So retry number 1. So already execution is happening here. That is the first retry. And the second retry also will be triggered. So based on the configuration value, if you see here guys, so retry number 2. And here we can see the results also. That means the execution is happening. And that's it guys. And if you see here, so our test is got failed and it has opened the report. So this is the original execution results. And this is the first retry. And this is the second retry. So this is how you can set the configuration value for the retry in Playwright. And this is how you can execute the failed test cases automatically in Playwright. In this Playwright tutorial, we are going to see how to perform parallel test execution in Playwright. That means how to achieve the parallelism in the Playwright. So I will navigate to the VS Code now. And here, so we are going to execute the one spec file called group.spec.js file. So which has the two groups. One is smoke testing, which contains the two automation tests, that is test 1 and test 2. And we have another group called sanity testing, which contains the three automation tests, test 3, test 4, and test 5. So total we have 5 automation tests in this group.spec.js file. So that's a bit about the spec file, which we are going to execute it in a couple of minutes. So for the parallel test execution, so we need to make sure that one flag is set to true inside the playwright.configuration file. That is under the define configuration. So there is a one flag called fully parallel : and here you need to set the value as true always to run the playwright test in parallel mode. That's it guys. Now let's try to run the group.spec.js file from the command prompt. You can run it from the command prompt or you can run it from the terminal as well. So simply I'm writing the npx, and also we are passing the number of tests can be triggered for the execution. So that parameter value also we are passing it from the terminal only. So here I'm just passing the npx command followed by playwright, and after that I'm adding the test, and here we have to specify the spec file name. So here I'll say group.spec.js, and after that, so this is where we have to pass the proper value so that playwright can trigger the appropriate test executions. That means the number of tests you want to trigger for the execution at the same time. So that parameter value you need to pass it here. So simply you can write hyphen workers and space. Let's say we have the total 5 automation tests. So that's the reason here I'll write 3. That means at the same time it is going to execute the 3 automation test if I pass it as the 3 value. So let's pass the 3 and we will see whether it is launching the 3 browsers and it is going to execute the 3 automation tests at the same time. So it has triggered the all the, let me just minimize this window. And if you see here guys, it has triggered the 3 tests for the execution, and also it has triggered the next 2 automation tests for the execution. And then finally it is going to complete the test execution. So right now this is the last test execution is happening. So total we have the 5 automation tests. And if I go to the VS Code, and here you can see that 5 tests are passed. And we can check the results inside the Playwright test report. And there also we should be able to see all the 5 tests are passed. So if you see here, so this is the total count and this is the passed count. So this is the expected results. And also here you can see that test 1 and test 2 are belong to the smoke testing group, and test 3, test 4, test 5 is belong to the sanity testing group. So let's trigger the 4 test cases execution at the same time this time. So here I'm passing the workers as 4. That means at the same time it is going to execute the 4 test cases. So it has opened all the browsers. Let me minimize all the browsers so that I can show you the execution. If you look at the taskbar guys, it has opened the 4 browsers. That means 4 test case execution is happening right now. So let's wait for some time so that it will complete all the execution. Right now only 1 test execution is happening. That's it guys. So let's go to the VS Code, and if you see here guys, so it has took 41 seconds and all the 5 test cases are passed. So let's go to the report also. So let's refresh the report, and here you can see that all the tests are getting passed here. So this is how you can perform the parallel testing in the Playwright. In this Playwright tutorial, we are going to see how to parameterize tests in Playwright. So here I will navigate to the VS Code, and here I'm creating quickly one spec file called parameterize test.spec.js. So that's it guys. So here I will go to the one of the spec file. So simply I will copy the test and I will add it inside the parameterize test.spec file. So I will delete the stuff which are not required, and I will keep only the skeleton of the Playwright test. So here I will update the test name as parameterize tests in Playwright. So that's it guys. Now let's discuss the manual scenario first. Firstly, we will navigate to the youtube.com. So you need to copy this URL and you need to add it inside the goto method. So already we have added this URL. Then we have to search with keywords. That's it guys. So this is a scenario what we are going to automate it. So here simply we will add the Playwright by tester stock. Then we will press the enter from the keyboard. So let's inspect this search text box first. So I will go to the inspect. And if you see here this particular input tag details, so I'm using the placeholder equal to search as the value. So here simply I will copy this search value, and here I'm using the await followed by page dot get by placeholder, and inside this one simply I will add the value as search. So firstly I will click on this search text box, then we will enter the search keywords later. So here I will call to the method called click, and then I will use the same locator, and then I will call to the method called fill. By using the fill I will enter the search keywords. So here I'll say Playwright by tester stock. So that's it, guys. So once we enter the search keywords, we need to press the enter from the keyboard, or you can try to click on the search icon as well. So in my case, I'm pressing the enter from the keyboard. So I'm using the same locator. Then I'm calling to the method called press, and inside the press I'm just entering the enter as the value. That's it, guys. Then I will wait for some time. So here I will use the await followed by page. Then I will call to the function called wait for timeout. So here I will specify some milliseconds. So that's it, guys. So let's verify this test is working perfectly fine or not. Then we will discuss how to perform the parameterization in the Playwright. So I will run the test now. So it has navigated to the youtube.com. Then it has entered the search keywords, and also it is able to press the enter from the keyboard. And also you can see the results. Our test is getting passed. And here you can see the in the test results tab also, our test is working perfectly fine, right? Now let's see how to parameterize tests. So here I'm creating one simple constant array variable. So here I'll say constant. Here I'll say the variable name is variable name as test parameters equal to square brackets, I'll say here. And inside the square brackets, I will add the array elements. So here I'll say first one and the second one and the third parameter. The first parameter is playwright by tester stock, and then second time I will say cypress by tester stock, and third time I will say JavaScript by tester stock. So these are the parameters I'm using. That means these are the parameters I'm creating it so that I can parameterize this particular test. So that let's say for the first time this particular test is running. So it will search with it will search with playwright by tester stock first time. And when second time it is running same test, so it will search with the cypress by tester stock and so on. So we have the test data. That means we have the test parameters to be passed on to the test is ready now. So here we have to use a simple for loop, that is a for off loop. And here simply I will take the array variable, that is the test parameters. So simply I'll paste it here. That's it, guys. And then here I will give the variable name as search keyword. So that's it, guys. So simply I will take this whole test and I will keep inside the for loop. So let me format it. So once we have the test parameters are ready, and after writing the for loop, so we have to read this particular test data. That is a one by one this for loop will gets the all these parameter values from the array. And once this particular variable is having the respective value, we have to read this we have to read the this variable name inside the our line number 15 where we are exactly searching with the keywords, right? So that's the reason what I will do is, so simply here I'm writing dollar and then followed by open flower bracket and close flower bracket. So simply I'll take this variable and I'll paste inside the flower brackets. That's it, guys. And also you need to make sure that you are writing this description inside the single quotation. So that's it, guys. Once you have written this one, so let me check what is the issue. It is showing some error over here. Yeah, it is clear now. So once you are having the search keyword value inside the test description, simply you can use this particular variable name where you want to use that particular test parameter value, guys. That's it. Let me summarize what we have done so far. So we have created a simple test where we are navigating to the youtube.com and searching with the keywords. And after that, we have created the one array that contains the three search keywords. And this test data I'm passing on to the our test by using the for loop. That's it, guys. It's very simple. So same test will be getting executed three times by passing the different sets of test data. Now let's run the test. Our test is ready now. Very first time it should pass the playwright by tester stock. In the search text box, it has to enter the keyword. So it is entering the playwright by tester stock. Then second time it will search with cypress by tester stock, and it is perfectly working fine. And this is the third time it should search with JavaScript by tester stock. So that's it, guys. So it is working as expected. So let's open the report and we will check the report. And if you see here, guys, so till this it is the test case name, and at the end you can see the what is the data passed on to this particular test, right? And here you can see that total count is 3, and those 3 automation tests are getting passed. And here you can see that different search keywords are passed on to the same test. So this is how we can achieve the parameterization in the Playwright. In this Playwright tutorial, we are going to see how to perform visual comparison testing, or how to perform visual testing in Playwright. So what does this mean? Visual comparison or visual testing. So basically, let's say for example, we have opened a web page and we will capture the screenshot of that particular web page, and that will be saved as a reference screenshot for the future execution. And whenever we second time we are trying to run the test, and that will capture the actual page screenshot and it will compare with the expected reference screenshot. So basically it is a comparison of the two screenshots. If there is a difference, we will get to know like what is the difference between the actual and the expected screenshots. So let's go to the VS Code and let's see how to perform the visual comparison testing in the Playwright. So here I'll quickly create a one spec file. So here I will give the spec file name as visual testing dot spec dot js. That's it. So here I will go to the one of the test. Simply I will take the copy of this test and I'll come back to the visual testing dot spec file. So here I will keep only the skeleton of the Playwright test. So that's it. Now I will update the test name as visual comparison testing in Playwright. So that's it, guys. Now what I will do is, so simply I will navigate to the web page here. Now let's discuss what is the scenario we are going to automate it. So we will open the github.com/login page. So we'll open this particular page and we'll capture the snapshot of this particular page and we will keep it. And whenever we execute it second time or third time and so on, so it basically compares the actual screenshot with the expected snapshot screenshot. So simply I will copy this particular URL, and after that we will take the snapshot of this current page, and here I'm adding the URL inside the goto method. So firstly we have navigated to the this URL. Now so here I will give the await dot page dot, so here I'll say wait for timeout. So here I'll give the some 3000 milliseconds. That's it, guys. Now, to take the screenshot or to take the snapshot very first time when you are writing the automation test. So simply you need to use the await keyword followed by you need to use the expect function here. Inside this, you need to pass the page object and followed by you need to call to the one function called to have screenshot. And inside this, we have to give the snapshot screenshot reference name. So here I'm giving snapshot screenshot name as GitHub page dot png. That's it, guys. So simply I will save the test and I will run it. And if you see here under the tests folder, right now there is no reference created. And if I run this test, it will create the one snapshot folder. Inside that, we will be finding the one PNG format screenshot of the current web page. Now I will run the Playwright test. And if you see here, guys, so our test will get failed very first time. And it says that a snapshot does not exist at this location. So this is the expected failure, guys. When you are writing the or when you are implementing the script very first time, you will get this exception. So you can ignore it. So simply you can delete this one. And now if you observe on the left side, so there is a folder created called visual testing.spec.js-snapshots. Inside this folder, so there is a screenshot created with .png format. If you see here, so this particular name what we have given and followed by that the browser name and followed by that based on your number of operating systems, it has given the Win32. So if you look at the folder name also, this is the spec file name followed by the snapshots, right? So now the snapshot is present here. And if I rerun the same test, this time it will perfectly work fine. So our test will get passed. There will be no issues. And if you see here, our test is working fine and our test is getting passed, right? So now what I will do is, so I will go to the this login page and simply I will click on this username and I will enter something in this username field. Then there will be some difference in the actual web page, actual screenshot and the expected screenshot. Then our test case will get fail. So here I will use the ID of the web element. So simply I will press Ctrl F and here I'll press the hash and followed by the ID value. So I have written a simple CSS selector. Now we are able to identify the username text box. And here I will use the await keyword followed by page object dot. So here I'll say dot locator and inside the locator I will add the CSS selector value. Firstly, I will click on the username text box and after that I will enter some data inside the text box. So here I'll say fill method and here I'll just write the some text inside the text box as tester stock. That's it, guys. So whatever the image we have captured inside the snapshot, right? So this image does not have the entered data screenshot here, right? So this time our test will get failed. So that is the expected failure. So basically we are performing the two images comparison using the Playwright tool. So that's it, guys. Now I will run the test now. Sorry guys, so what we have done is just we have written the locator and we have performed the action, but we haven't compared it after that, right? So if you see here, guys, so after writing some data into the text field and we have to again verify this particular image, right? So simply I will take the same line of code, that's a line number 9, and I'll paste it after entering something inside the text box, right? So in the line number 9 we are comparing the two images and in the line number 14 we are comparing the two images. So this is the before actions, two images comparison, and in the similar way here I'll say so this is the after action, two images comparison, right? So that's it guys. Now I will execute the test once again. So this time, so it will get fail, our test will get fail in the line number 14. So when we are trying to compare the two images in the second time. So if you see here guys, the error is very much clear. So screenshot comparison got failed, right? Now let's open the report. So here I will go to the index.html report and I will open the .html file. And if you see here guys, so these are some details about the screenshot, sorry, failure. And here you can see that where exactly it has got failed. And if you see here guys, so there is another section got added, image mismatch. If I scroll down a little bit, so we have the screenshot section and also we have the traces section. But if you see here, so we have the additional section got added when you are comparing the two images by using Playwright. So that section name is image mismatch colon, you can find the screenshot name. And this is the difference guys. So this is the actual image and this is the expected image. And if you see the difference image, so only the text what we have entered in the web page is only the difference, right? So this is how you can compare the two images in the Playwright automation tool.